our new sponsor is Fuck Off Soda.
No.
And then one year, my father was this tiny yard. He decided to put in an above ground pool. It was ridiculous. All right, you know those orange buckets from Home Depot? They were bigger than that pool. It was so small that like if all three of us got in, we couldn't even get all the way wet.
Avoid ordering food from Chipotle because one of the employees,
Monica.
it was definitely Monica, sneezed in the queso this morning.
Yep.
The galloping pulse and flash rock and stick work of drummer Reg Isidore.
Is the door open? Is the door closed? So I can't.
Sets up.
Anthony, stop, Anthony. Will somebody shut the fat little bastard up?
This is the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.
I'm living far away where anything can reach to see them.
So, because we're so topical, I just found out this morning that Jimmy Buffett died. Now, I always hated his music. I mean, I really did. But you have to admire the whole concept. I mean, the man made millions. So, like, I only know how to play 2 or 3 country songs. Doesn't matter, right? Every song about being on vacation. Well, I don't have any cool rock and roll clothes. That's fine. Your symbol will be the flip-flop and flowered shirts. Okay. Well, what does everybody like me to write songs about? Vacations, beaches, and avoiding responsibility. It's sort of like the Garth Brooks thing. I don't get it, but I have to admire the hugeness of it.
You know,
It's like a cult, you know.
He sings the song for not the elitist. He sings the song for every man. He sings the song for the blue collar workers. He sings songs
Larry the Cable
about
Guy of music.
Getting drunk, toxic relationships that didn't go well, being poor, food.
Yeah, I always thought Cheeseburger in Paradise, that is one nudge away from being an ad. I could never believe that McCormick didn't like make that like their jingle. They only have to change a couple of words. Just thinking about the Heinz 57 sauce, really?
Yeah, and that clap, you know, where you literally are clapping along with that Heinz 57 French fried potatoes. I mean, it's dying for a ketchup ad.
You might have fins to the left and fins to the right, but I'm changing the dial.
I just think he just on some way in some drunk dive bar that always pulled everyone together. When I worked at Chi-Chi's in the 90s, we had a guy, Jim Cone, who would come in and that's all he played was Jimmy Buffett songs.
People yelling salt. I'm more a fan of assault. Yeah.
Well,
anyway.
You know what? And he was really smart because along with the music, he had a clothing line.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we went to a Jimmy Buffett bar in Baltimore. It was okay. And then we went to it's good for people watching because you just can't believe how fanatical these people are, you know.
They know every word. There's even like motions, I think, to fins to the left, fins to the right. I think there's actually it's like kind of like a you know, Rocky Horror Picture Show where you got to know all the moves. I don't know what they are.
You know, he's got a family that's going to inherit all that money.
Yeah,
all that money.
It's crazy, but well, even though we weren't huge fans of your simplicity, we certainly think the world is without a salt shaker today.
See, now there's an excuse to drink. See, which is all he ever wanted anyway. So there you go. So, okay, so let's switch gears a little bit. So, I haven't really brought this up, but I honestly feel that the ultimate depraved bottom of the barrel of humanity is YouTube comments. I mean, it's pretty much the ultimate dumpster fire where you just see the worst of people. Not getting the point of the video, attacking the video, ridiculing the video. It's almost an art form. You know,
and I'll hashtag Rebecca Louise in on this, but she always does all these workout videos. We love you, Rebecca. She actually did one years ago where she was lifting her leg and she barely grazes her chihuahua, barely, as that he runs through screen. And she jokes about it and says something about, oh, things happen. Sometimes you just have to kick your dog. And then she says, I don't kick my dog. There were so many comments.
Oh, God. It's like the neighborhood app. Yeah.
It was, she barely touched this dog. I mean, if you know anything about this woman, she lived for her pets. I think she took that one down.
Well, what everyone says is, I would just ignore the negativity. It's the way people are. But I remember an interview with Bill Burr where he said, I kind of like, crack the knuckles. Let's go to war, And I kind of feel that way too. Like I have too much to say to ignore the comments. I'm gonna fight back. I'm for the last few years, I have censored myself so much. I'm tired of it. I'm just gonna let it fly. So if somebody says some shitty thing on one of our videos, I'm just gonna be like, why don't you go back to Pitchfork where you belong? I'm gonna send them back. I'm fighting back. So but anyway, so examples of YouTube videos. Okay, how about this one? You sent me this. A mama duck waits while workers rescue her babies that are stuck in a storm drain. She will not move until she has all 6 chicks. They keep bringing the babies over, and she just is like, yeah, 3 more to go, 2 more to go. I ain't moving, right? As soon as number 6 is there, she cleans them off. They all get up and they follow her home. It is beautiful. It's a beautiful testament of the power of being a mother, right? Here's the kind of comments you get. 4 guys on this and I can't get a pothole repaired. Great.
The amount of duck shit I find in the park is disgusting. I think they each have 5 assholes.
See, yeah, kind of missing the point, as it were. 2 toddlers, brother and sister, in church clothes, holding hands, picking flowers for Mother's Day. Oh, that garden. Ever heard of weeding?
What kind of camera shot is this? The resolution is giving me a headache.
Wow. I guess it's never too early for Botox. Yeah, dumpster fire, people.
It's so easy to sit behind a keyboard and type nasty shit.
Yeah.
Trolls.
I like it. Yeah. Bring it on. So just be forewarned. Whatever you got, I got more. Anyway, okay, so let's talk about a new feature that we're going to start this week. It's not going to be every week, but it will make an appearance from time to time. I was wondering, what is the qualifications for a daily horoscope writer? I think it's just, can you write vaguely? How vague can you write? Here's an example. Positive vibes today. There will always be those that try and bring you down, but life is too short for you to let that happen. Keep an open mind for new ideas, and remember to smile randomly. Your lucky numbers are 2 and 14, and your color today is periwinkle.
Yeah, or they would just say something super applicable to everyone. Wear something different today. A scarf, a necklace, something that brings out your inner beauty. Remember to listen to the birds singing this morning. And yes, stop and smell the flowers. You've earned it. Paint the fluffy clouds where you please.
Okay,
Sounds like they talk in bumper stickers.
Okay, so the feature is called Mark's Very Specific Horoscopes. Okay, and as I read this to you, you're going to get the gist. And I know there's going to be a 1% of you that are going to leave comments that, oh my God, you nailed my day perfectly. So here we go. Libra, the thermostat in the lunchroom isn't working, so bring a sweater today. I know you're getting annoyed because your sister keeps posting pictures of grilled salmon on Instagram, but don't say anything. She's just lonely because Walt is out of town. By the way, Dave says he likes your homemade coleslaw, but he throws it out every day at lunch. Invest in rare Prussian coins.
Capricorn, make sure you emphasize third quarter earnings in your meeting with the finance department today. Kevin will not be paying attention to your presentation. He'll be on DraftKings looking at his fantasy team as he does most of the day. Avoid ordering food from Chipotle because one of the employees,
Monica.
it was definitely Monica, sneezed in the queso this morning.
Yep.
Every Taurus you encounter gets a hug today.
Yep.
Get that sore on your big toe looked at. And please ignore texts. Please ignore texts from anyone named Chessa.
I got one more. Leo, there will be a speed trap at the intersection of Hartford Road and Montague, so keep it under 47 to be safe. If you don't redeem the $5 coupon for Total Wine and More today, it will expire. The soup in the cafeteria is much hotter than it looks. Word to the wise, it is not a good day to wear brown shoes.
Shoes are tragic.
So this has been Mark's super specific horoscopes. Let's talk about our feature interview.
Our feature interview this week is with the beautiful and talented vocalist Crystal Crosby of the Charlotte-based garage metal outfit Occult Fracture. We have a super fun chat with Crystal covering everything from Occult Fracture's genre-defying sound to the band's trip to Scotland, to her contempt for Autotune. So stay tuned for that.
Okay, let's play a song. This is Militant. Okay, let's talk about Patreon. I'll show my infamous phone graphic here. Bloopers and outtakes, bonus reviews, Stacey's recipes and gardening tips, and general weirdness. Yes, we desperately need your help on patreon.com/Snaggletooth podcast. What am I adding this week? I recently put in reviews of Black Sabbath, The Eternal Idol. Does that album hold up? How does that sound? And a Dark Throne record. I think it's Total Death. So if you'd like to hear how those records sound, tune into patreon.com/Snaggletooth podcast for $6.66 a month. You get all kinds of bonus footage. This week there's a very, very special record. Okay. What happens with most people as they start to get older, get into your 30s, you start to have responsibilities, you start to have family, you start to have a career, your interest in new music starts to wane. This is most people, not everyone. And you just are like, you know what? I've got enough songs I like. I just like classic rock, or I just like the music that I grew up with, right? I was right on the verge of that happening when this record came out. It turned everything around, and I have been into new music ever since. So I will be writing an extensive review and reading it on Patreon for this very special record. So
I will be also filming my satanic pickle recipe, which Mark wishes I wouldn't tell anyone, but I'm going to share it with you guys. And the refrigerator pickle, so you don't have to deal with all the canning nonsense.
they're so addictive. I love them. So our new sponsor is Fuck Off Soda.
No.
No, it's not. But it is Fuck Off. Yeah.
No product placement.
No.
So yeah, our check us out. Also, come over to Instagram, give us a follow. We also put a lot of fun stuff up in there. And we're also on Facebook. So come check us out. Get over to Patreon and
Leave a shitty comment so I can go to war with you. Yeah.
start a war. Make a contribution, and we will be assured to put more exclusive content up for just our subscribers.
All right. So let's talk about grade school picture day. Now, this is back in the 70s when we were young. My school, we wore uniforms back then. So picture day was a huge deal because we got to see each other in normal clothes. It's mind blowing. So I remember a lot of like glittery polyester disco shirts, collars 4 feet wide, bright colored corduroy pants, newsboy flat caps, big white belts, garanimals. Everything was a plaid nightmare. The boys looked more like pimps without a street corner than school kids, really, And there was always that rip of walking through the hallways and corridors. That sound.
It was
Jeans don't make that sound.
No, it was great because you know how you could walk really quickly, like down the hallway, and then you had to slow down when you got to a classroom, and then the rip would pick back up. I always loved that.
Yeah, the girls wore a lot of plaid too. I remember jean jumpers and flares. There's cropped turtlenecks and the sweaters that look like your grandma knitted them for you.
Shaker sweaters.
Yeah. The teachers hated it because it was so much visual stimulus for us. We were just totally distracted. Seeing Jennifer Cole in that paisley and denim skirt was much more exciting to me than spelling class.
They'd line us up to get our picture taken in the gym. It was always one super stressed out dude with the umbrella foil thing set up, bleary-eyed because he had to photograph 718 children in a single afternoon.
What? How? Why? I never understood that.
And they always gave you those little plastic throwaway combs.
God, I forgot about that.
And,
I had my cool Fonzie comb. So, yeah.
I've always had a lot of hair. And that tiny comb that was designed for an older man with thinning hair that he was going to, use it for his comb over was not even going to put a dent in my hair.
Wait, I've got a tie-in. It's perfect for I wish I had a pencil-thin mustache. There it is, Jimmy Buffett, right there. Okay. God, we're so topical, aren't we? They really loved lining us up back then. I don't know. Was it like this for you, or was it just a Catholic school thing? They lined us up to change classes. They lined us up to go to the water fountain. They lined us up to go to the bathroom. I think it was good practice for eventual unemployment line. And then eventually the laser background and double exposure effects were added. You had to have that in your picture. Cutting edge stuff, because everyone wanted a picture of themselves looking like they're on the set of the movie Tron in 1984. Yeah. The creepy second semi-translucent face in the back, like somewhere up here. Yeah.
Yeah, I always thought it looked like, it was some kind of artsy mugshot.
Yeah, yeah. This
Look
is my
where-
face. This is almost my
Turn.
face. Ooh.
Front.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was the clever and oh so friendly photographer would come up with a nickname for each kid. Honestly, if you hung out long enough, you would realize that he only had about 10 nicknames that he cycled through and then just started over from the top. He also made you say weird things instead of just the traditional cheese. So it went like this. Okay, Ponko, you want to sit here, hands in your lap. Grasp him awkwardly. Turn your head in an unnatural manner like you might be doing an exorcism. Good. Look here and say, green beans. Green beans?
Anthony, stop, Anthony, will somebody shut the fat little bastard up? Sorry, I couldn't resist. Okay, this week it's time for Bastard Songs. And this week I wrote a song called Wifflëheadz with umlauts. My brothers and I grew up in a tiny row house in Baltimore City. The yard was like a postage stamp, basically, the front yard. If you ever saw like the Rocky movies, when he lives in Philly, or the movie Gran Torino, it was kind of like that, right? It was the row house, a tiny little lawn, fenced in. And that was the showy part. Out back was even smaller. And I think a sheet of drywall was bigger than our backyard, actually, So, and even smaller than that was the alley that ran. It was a hill, an alley that ran between the backyards. It was like 4 or 5 feet wide. And this narrow alleyway of potholes and concrete and broken glass, this is where we spent most of my youth when I was a boy, right? We would play wiffle ball from the moment my mom kicked us out, it was usually like 9 o'clock in the morning, until it got dark. We just played all day wiffle ball. We developed this complex system of ball retrieval, because any decent hit was going to go in somebody's yard, right? If they had a mean dog, that ball was gone, right? And we would walk by and we would see the dog barking at us, and you could see like 3, 4 balls. We'll never get those back, right? If they had a pool, it would go in the pool, and we'd have to hop the fence and get the skimmer, hope they didn't yell at us, get the ball back out. Sometimes we would have to climb trees. I mean, this was like Mission Impossible, basically, to get the ball back. Keep whatever it takes to keep the game going, And then one year, my father was this tiny yard. He decided to put in an above ground pool. It was ridiculous. All right, those orange buckets from Home Depot? They were bigger than that pool. It was so small that, like, if all 3 of us got in, we couldn't even get all the way wet.
May as well just use a rain barrel.
Exactly. Yeah. So anyway, another attempt at musical expression. This is Wifflëheadz. In the heart of the urban jungle, on a crooked, narrow street, we played stickball for hours on the hot, jagged concrete. Cartoons went well for breakfast, cocoa pebbles were just fine. On good days we could find our shoes, Mom kicked us out at 9. Just city kids, not aristocrats. We lived our summer days to swing that wiffle bat. Out the door and down the stairs into the backyard sprawl. An alley barely 5 feet wide, prepared for a football. All potholes and broken glass, the hot sun on our faces. Grab a bat and find a ball, we just use trash for bases. Just city kids, not aristocrats. We lived our summer days to swing that wiffle bat. Breaking windows, barking dogs, we were always on our guard. Any decent connection would land in the neighbor's yard. Climbing trees and jumping fences seems unorthodox. We were sticklers for the rules that his foot touched cereal box. Just city kids, not aristocrats. We lived our summer days to swing that wiffle bat. Just city kids, not aristocrats. We lived our summer days to swing that wiffle bat. So what do you think of that? Another groundbreaking piece of Snaggletooth music, I would say. Yeah. Didn't you have a story about the slip and slide?
Yeah, my dad wouldn't let us have a pool and he was right. The couple times we tried to even have a baby pool, you always had the circle of dead grass under it, and it never went
Oh,
away.
it's like the crop
Never
circle
went
of death.
back.
Yeah.
Never looked right again. So he didn't want his lawn all screwed up, but we were allowed to get the slip and slide out on the weekends,
Okay.
which for those of you who don't know, it was basically just a sheet of plastic that you would attach a hose to, and it would get super slippery. So you could run and practice your slip and fall for your later lawsuits at Giant Foods. But it was never like, it always seemed like it was going to be fun. But what you mostly did was slip and bang your shin on something and get grass stuck to you in various locations. Because, see, no one ever stopped where the slide ended. You just continued on like some kind of weird physics experiment as an object in motion until that painful outside force was inflicted. Slip and slide. I think I hear my mom calling me for dinner. Sorry.
Well, because after a while, that wet grass is every bit as slippery, so you're just going to keep going. We didn't have one, but I had a friend that had one. I did it one time, and my ass slid right into a chain link fence face first. So it's like
a barrel of hay at the end of it or something.
Thanks for the nosebleed. Yeah, this is a great idea. So, all right, it's time to play another Occult Fracture song. This is Dare. Okay, let's talk about Home Chef.
I have tried many services that send meals to your home. I have not found one better than Home Chef. We just enjoyed our Home Chef today. Everything ships right to your door. You get recipe cards, you get your meat, you get your veg, you get mayonnaise, you get whatever you need for the recipe, spices, and it's all done so that there's no waste. There's nothing to put up in your spice cabinet to get gross for the next 4 years.
This week we got pesto.
We did.
I don't know. They put it in this huge cylinder.
That was an advertisement.
Don't miss the pesto.
Yeah, that was definitely a product placement advertisement because they included a coupon. However,
it's as big as a Parmesan cheese shaker.
You can go on Home Chef.
It's that much pesto.
It's a lot of pesto. Pesto a little bit goes a long way.
Well, I could go for a truckload of pesto right about now.
In fact, we just are today. You can go on and pick your meals. You can pick your choice of whether it be meat. You can double the meat. You can say, hey, I want Impossible Burger. Fine. You want no meat. Fine. You want desserts? Fine. Smoothies? They can throw those in too. We usually get about 3 meals a week, but you can pick if you get 2 or 3. Anything over $60 ships for free to your door, packed in ice. You don't have to worry if you're not home. It always stays fresh. All the meat is sealed up cryogenically. And today we made a hot honey chicken with roasted Brussels sprouts that had a great sauce for those too. Everything in Home Chef is about the sauces, the spice, the taste. It
literally changed the way you cook.
It does. Yeah. I never use frozen vegetables anymore. That I found out how easy and delicious it was to roast everything in the oven.
Yep.
So everything I use now is fresh. There's no waste. Everything is delicious that they make. And they're easy. You know, they don't take too long. They even tell you right on the card how long it's going to take. So use our link, get over there, get your own lovely Home Chef meals delivered, and you will never have to fumble through a cookbook or say, what's for dinner tonight? It's all right there.
Absolutely. Fluctuation. This week, we are going to focus on this reference. Robin Trower's 1972 classic debut, twice removed from yesterday. Ending his listen to the flower people stage by moving away from the psychedelic pop of Procol Harum. Side note, his last record with the band, Broken Barricades, is really good. But as this album's title kind of hypothesizes, at this point in the 70s, pianos, kimonos, and orchestral strings were giving way to low sideburns, denim, and hard blues. If you think about it, it's kind of like the first 2 Trapeze records. Very interesting band, Glenn Hughes. First record is total Listen to the Flower People, right? And then later in 1970, same exact band comes out with Medusa, which is total heavy rock like this. So yeah, this is kind of comparable to that.
The galloping pulse and flash rock and stick work of drummer Reg Isidore
Is the door open? Is the door closed? So I can't.
sets up
to-
Trower's effervescent tones and dagger-like blends in Man of the World. This is not the Fleetwood Mac
How
song.
weird is that? That both Fleetwood Mac and Trower have a song called Man of the World, and they're both awesome. And they're within 5 years of each other. Crazy.
Dewar lamenting over bad decisions, a cheating and a stealing and double dealers. Such a time-bound phrase for the 70s hard rock. You don't hear much about double dealing and wicked women stealing whiskey in the Ghost or Muse catalog.
Muse knows that there's plenty for all. All right, let's play Man of the World. Okay, continuing with Trower. The song Hannah on this record is spectacular. It just hangs a drapery of Trower's sexy cosmic shimmer over a simple, profound chorus, band shuffling into a double-time jam for the solo, and then backtracking to sedate, slow blues for the outro. The album just glows with tasty nuggets like Sinner Song. It shuffles along with a cucumber cool heavy riff. We're going to play that one for you in a minute. Against Dewar's Paul Rogers-like pipes, eventually emerging in a furious jam while the introspective ballerina slow builds at a Red House sort of a pace.
A forgotten gem released on the blossoming edge of heavy blues psych, Trower's debut is an exceptional platter from a legendary power trio. Hendrix-based, but in no way Hendrix-bound, Trower's shimmery chords and unhurried style sought to wring every ounce of emotion from individual notes.
Yes,
This group could craft songs,
great songs.
not tedious solos over 12 bars for 40 minutes, but rather infectious, hook-heavy performances capped with the vivid, soulful vocals of bassist James Dewar.
Twice Removed from Yesterday kicked off a string of quality Trower records, all with sort of collectible, colorful, abstract album covers and rife with dazzling performances. There's an air of wizened British sophistication to the band's style, like artisans of melodic insight, and they're cut above many of the blues bands of the period, aligning them, at least in my mind, with legends like the Groundhogs, Peter Green, and Taste. I seem to recall even Rolling Stone gave Trower records good reviews. But don't let that stop you from checking. I mean, even the blind dog finds the bone once in a while. So let's play Sinner Song.
This is our interview with the beautiful and lovely Crystal Crosby of Occult Fracture. I don't think I properly showed off my Occult Fracture bling. They have some.
My shags bling.
They have,
Gabba gabba dot. Yes.
incidentally, some absolutely epic T-shirts on Occult Fracture.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We
talk about it in the
we
interview.
do. And they really, she explains how they kind of came to be, because usually if I look over a band's website, it only takes me a little bit to figure out. I agonized over which one. However, getting back to this band, I don't think that there is another band that sounds exactly like them. I can hear Southern influences. I can hear Blondie. I can hear Led Zeppelin at times. A gateway drug is Militant, and then go over to Lovely Bones. And when the music drops away and it's just Crystal pounding and chanting it out, and then those great crunchy guitars. Anyway, check out this interview with Crystal, and we will discuss it all.
Well, thank you for doing this. It was great to finally. It's good to finally get to meet you. You know, we've been big fans ever since. Well, what, for like last 2 years, really?
Yeah.
I think that's fantastic. Thank you so much. I'm so happy. I'm always happy when somebody enjoys our music. I really am. And it's
really
so
do.
nice to put beautiful faces to pages. And thank you so much for all that you do for local and live music. Appreciate you.
We do. We try.
We try.
We try.
Yeah. I was banned for a while for coloring my hair because my son got married. So I had to leave it normal for a while, but he got married in June, so I can be bad again now.
I think it's absolutely stunning. I just did a pink purple combo today. I'm a hairdresser and I own a salon, and I love your hair. It's splendid. I love it.
It's great. You own a salon.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
I do. I do.
So if you Google Occult Fracture, of course, you know what it comes up with.
Mhm.
It's like all the medical jargon and the fracture that's not really visible. It sounds horrible. But is the band name kind of a metaphor for hidden damage in people, or what was the idea there?
You know, to tell you the truth, I wanted a different band name when I went to Mike, and Mike said, no, this is an homage to my father, and then once he told the story, it was so beautiful. It was like, this has to be the band name. And Occult Fracture, his father was passing away, and they found these occult fractures, and he just thought it was a really great term, and we didn't know what it meant exactly, but it's a break that you can't see. And as I listen to each and every Occult Fracture song, it just permeates through every single one of them. That's probably the common vein of all of our music, is that one piece, that there's something broken that we just can't see. So it's perfect for us. I'm so happy that he bantered back with a no.
Yeah. Yeah, I was trying to think of other bands that were named after like medical terms, but it's all death metal, like, it's all like, insane lobotomy and stuff like that. So it's not really your genre.
We're really still trying to figure out our genre. We play shows with so many different amazing bands, like all different genres, and we're still trying to find where we fit, and somehow we just kind of sail right between them all. So we're happy about that.
It's a good thing to be flexible. Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to think about that. I mean, I didn't know what specific genre to put you in. I mean, I hear some punk, I hear, almost, with that drumming, it's almost, coming up on metal. Do you have a name for your genre, or what would you call it?
When you figure it out, please let us know, because we're still trying to figure out what it is ourselves. Honest to God, we all bring so many different elements. And I was in a blues soul band, and I asked Mike, I'm like, you sure you got the right girl for this band? He was like, no, this is it. This is it. I don't want you to do anything other than what you do on top of our music. And it's just a beautiful marriage, musically speaking. And coincidentally, Mike and Angela are in fact married, and that blend, to see them live on stage, you really get that. They capture that in sync kind of a thing that just everybody's interesting to watch. I think
I told somebody that you were this band, this singer that we're interviewing tonight. The band is sort of like minimalist garage metal with female vocals. Like, that was the best. So, because as long as you guys kick,
we get a lot of stuff.
Who cares what they call it, right?
Yeah, we get a lot of Motorhead. Meets Babes in Toyland, or they're always throwing out the Gray Slick, always throwing out we get a lot, so many 80s influences, punk, rock, all of it, and we're still trying to figure it out.
Gray Slick never recorded anything like Medusa's Mirror that kicks that much ass. I mean, come on, what's real?
She's a badass, man. I'm telling you, boy, whoa, so many.
I don't know. I've seen a lot of your stills. I think you have a better stank face.
Oh, they always capture that. Angela and I talk about that all the time. Mike takes perfect photographs. They never, recently we've started photographing, making sure Steve's in them. But, Angela and I, we always are like, man, why do they take the most unflattering, photos of women? You take these mega rock images of these guys and they look like gods, and you get that angle on a girl and it's not pretty, but I mean, rock and roll was pretty about that.
We were talking to Erica Stoltz recently of Sanhedrin, and she said, she plays bass and sings, and she says that there is such a thing as bass face. I didn't know this existed prior to this, so it's apparently some face you make.
I did. We talked about. I learned to play 2 songs on the bass just to make fun of one of my college roommates. So yeah.
Oh, which ones did you learn?
I learned Red Barchetta so I could go. And it was a Duran Duran song also. So yeah, so I know 2 songs on the bass. Yeah.
Yeah, John Taylor's God. I mean, Nick Rhodes is God, but John Taylor's close second.
Oh yeah.
So just to show you how crazy genre jumping you are, I was of course digging through your page, of course buying a t-shirt because they're epic. Yeah. But
oh great.
Oh my God, I couldn't decide. I ended up going with the Bones one, but oh my God, I was just like, oh.
I love that, Stacey. I want to tell you, if you have a second, I'd love to tell you the story about the t-shirts too.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mike when we first started this, we wanted something totally different, and we scoured Instagram pages for these obscure unknown artists from all over the world. and Mike will now just kind of go through these artists, and we will commission their work. And in fact, on it's one of our banner. It is our banner of the two. There's two females, and we went back and forth. I collaborated a lot with the artist to come up with that design. But I think it's just so incredible the way that we vet our artists, because each shirt goes with a different CD with a different vibe, and I love that all artists are exposed. These are artists that would never be seen, you know, with our fans anyway. Otherwise, it's really cool.
Yeah. No, it
I
is
was
really
really close to the Ravenous Phantoms ones. I was like, God, which one do I pick here? It was so hard. I tell you, you guys are on it. I can't tell you the amount of times I love these guys, the Hellfreaks from Hungary. She has this great shot of this video. She's like covered in blood and just staring at the camera.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have to have it. So I thought, well, Hungary, I ought to give it some time. Like a month and a half later, I was like, so I just happened. I was like, guys, did you maybe tracking? And they're like, oh yeah, it's going out tomorrow.
She has really bad luck with t-shirts. I could order a t-shirt from like the Mediterranean, it would be here in a week. But Stacey will order from like Brooklyn, and it'll take like 6 weeks to get it. I don't know what.
But you guys she shipped today. I was like, wow.
Yeah, see, that's good. That's good.
Babe,
break
we're
the
on
curse.
it. I mean, we're so absolutely. Well, good. I can't wait to see you in it. That would be great. That would be great.
And while I was digging through your page, it looks like you guys are going to be at Night Goats at the Buzzbin in October. And they were actually on our Extreme show.
Yeah, we had Julie on our show. Yeah.
Did you really? That's
Yeah.
fantastic. People mentioned her to me because I have to do a little tambourine thing. They said, man, she tears it up. And
Yeah, she
they,
does.
you know,
Yeah.
Angel and Mike are huge goat horror fans. So I'm excited to
Yeah,
hear
we're
about
starting to get
them.
to that point with it. We're starting to get to that point with the show where we're we'll get a show flyer, and we'll be like, yep, 1, 2, 4, 6. Yep. Have been on the show. So it's a small world, the hard rock community, you know. So
It is, and it's a loyal one, and it's a lovely one too. You know, really a lot of love, a lot of support, a lot of looking out for everybody, and just really building each other up, which to me is everything.
right.
That's it
right.
for me. Where are you guys based out of?
We're in Baltimore.
Oh, fantastic! Everybody loves Baltimore.
Yeah. Well, unless you live here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's another story.
We love to make our way. We're working on it.
I've been to so many shows like on a Tuesday night, and I look around, there's like 50 people there, and I'm just like, want to apologize to the band. I'm like, sorry, this is it. Baltimore, you know. Philly is it's a little better. DC's a little better, you know.
It's been getting better, you know, with like the advent of Baltimore Soundstage being a little bigger venue, and then they had Hell in the Harbor this year, and then of course they're bringing back Maryland Death Fest, so we're working on it.
Yeah, we're working on it. Yeah.
My mom is actually in North Carolina now, in Oriental on vacation, and we love Myrtle.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Do you?
love North Carolina,
Fantastic. Well, you know, when I was 20, I ran like hell to Hollywood, and I stayed for like 13 years, and I came back to Charlotte, which is where I was raised. And then I went back to Southern California and then came back again. And I love both coasts so much, you know. I love them. Charlotte looks like Gotham City every night. I don't know if you know this about Charlotte, but every night they will change each light on the building. And so downtown has a whole different, you know, feel. Every night it's different. It's amazing. It's like Gotham City.
I almost relocated there at one point in my career because this company came after me. And I'll remember this was like the early 2000s. And I remember going through the city of Charlotte, and it was so clean. And I was like, wow, this is downtown. And you keep in mind Baltimore. So I mean, you know what I was expecting.
Well, yeah, I was
like,
yeah,
the cleanest city
SoCal,
I've ever been in. Wow, you know.
I tell you, where's the cleanest now, because we just got back from a Scotland, UK tour. Scotland has got to be the most magnificent place. I mean, it is absolutely pristine. The water, forget bottled water. I mean, forget even worrying about your food. Everything is clean. Everything's fresh. Everyone's delightful. If you guys haven't been, you got to go. Have you been?
No, but if we go, I'm going to go to that island where they make the scotch first. Because I know that's important. Yeah. Now, how did you guys get out to Europe?
Good on you. You know, we had a promoter, and I think the promoter just dropped the ball, and Angela picked it right back up, and she, you know, is able to make all these connections, and she laid out an incredible tour for us. And in fact, we've been invited back by our friend Steve Isles. We're going to go back in 2025, and I think he owns about 7 venues in London, which we never made it to. So we're going to go do like a five venue tour and do it again, but go just a little bit, you know, more into London. But
great.
we hit Scotland and Wales, and it was incredible. Please go.
Imagine what it costs to fly out there with all your gear and all that stuff.
Oh dear God.
Imagine.
God bless my van. You know, it's like, oh, thank you. Thank you.
That's a lot of hairdos for you, right? You know.
It is a lot of hairdos for me. Mike is wonderful. Yes, God bless him.
At least if worst comes to worst, you could set out a chair and just take walk-ups, you know.
That's what I'm saying, Stacey. It's like we will never be, I mean, you will never be without a job, because people are going to forever, ever love music and want to connect with it. And, you know, I'm always going to be able to, you know, fling some fur, whatever it takes, you know. Just, I mean, you know, I've been homeless a couple times, and when you've been homeless and you've been hungry, you will learn, you know. It's great.
So what were the most rabid fans that you came across? And because it tends to be like overseas, they're really enthusiastic.
Yeah, it seems like it.
They were incredible. I mean, you know, you look here, I see even still, we just got back, and, you know, you check out Instagram and you see your friends that you've just, you know, made that are in other bands, and they're wearing your t-shirts, you know, to walk around in a foreign country and see people wearing your t-shirts. I'm like, oh my God, like we're just a little bitty baby band, you know, we're just a little teeny tiny things, but wow, they really like us there. And we absolutely just ate it up just with so much love. In fact, if you ever get a chance to talk to Wifflëheadz, it's a band, I think they're out of, I'm going to say Manchester or Newcastle. They were wonderful, and they actually let us borrow their gear. We hadn't met them. We've only been friends with them on Twitter and on social media, and they completely gave us their entire backline to run with. And they wanted to play. We were trying to get every show with them, but we were only able to get 2. And I would love to bring them to the States. They are just a badass band. Yeah. And it doesn't hurt sickies in like a motorcycle gang.
Cool. Yeah, we love interviewing British artists because they get all the Spinal Tap jokes. It's great. Yeah.
I don't get any. Sorry.
And the Monty Python, they get all that stuff. Yeah, it's great.
Well, that's cool. Yeah.
Who else were you able to play with over there?
Oh my gosh. I'm the worst. We played with Wifflëheadz. We played I'm gonna mess it up. I'm gonna say Outcast Syndicate. I'm gonna say we played with a lot of bands. I mean, it was a whirlwind. It truly was. We did like 6 shows in 12 days, and we were actually packing like a 20 people entourage with us. So I couldn't tell you, but I can get that information to you for sure, because I'd love for you to check out all those bands. Yes. Yes.
You guys have kind of stuck to doing EPs instead of full records. Is that part of the plan, or?
We talked about doing a vinyl, you know, but we realized that the attention span of people really has gotten shorter. I mean, you know, you put on an album and you put that needle on the record and you just let it ride, right? You didn't move. Right. And now everybody's so fast that we figured the four song EPs about every 6 months keeps people hungry, and it keeps them, wanting a little bit more, but we always give them everything we got. I did want to point out, we were in Manchester, Newcastle, and a photographer, Jamie Huntley, who's incredible. He's worked with Lacuna Coil. He's worked countless bands over there. He just so happened to be at Trillions, which is where we got to play, which was like, oh my God, decades of rock and roll history, you know? Right. And we had hired a photographer who didn't show up, and Jamie Huntley just happened to be there. And I caught the back of him. He was wearing this badass jacket. I was like, this is the most Jack Sparrow man I've ever seen in my life, and I need that jacket. And the band manager was like, you want to meet that guy? I was like, I want to meet that coat. I don't know about that guy, but he ended up taking photographs for us. And he got some of the best shots that we've ever had. Because like, Stace, we were talking, it's difficult to photograph women and make us look fabulous, and you want to look fabulous because you're trying to market your band and sell yourself, and I've been at this thing for a long time with a big reprieve, and it doesn't get any easier for the girls, but we're changing that. I hope.
I don't know. I like a lot of your pictures. I really do. You look mean though.
Thank you, beautiful. Well, I show my teeth when I have to. It's very, very, very rare because I'm half Southern and I'm just sweet as I can be. But boy, woo.
I'm
So
technically
comes out
Southern
music.
too. My father's from Dothan, Alabama, so I
Oh, fantastic. We just got back from Birmingham.
yeah, when I was a boy and I'd go visit, I would start talking to my relatives, and they would talk about the schools are going to be closed, I think a week, and I would be like, get on with
Get
it.
it.
And then by the time I left, I was like, bye, Aunt Verdale. It's really good to see y'all. Like, they brought me down their speed, like the South
Yes.
does that, so
It does.
it does.
It truly does. When I moved back this time, I told a friend, I was like, I think I'm too much for Charlotte. She said, maybe Charlotte will temper you just a little bit and you'll be good to go, but
Temper
it's
you.
true. Hey takes like 5 syllables.
I like
Yeah.
that. I like that. Charlotte will
Mhm.
temper you.
That's
So
right.
I loved your guys' video for Crystalist. Was it a pain getting the drums and a sofa out in the woods?
Yeah.
I tell you, Mike and Angela have 3 boys, and they went with their entourage and carried all of our gear. And, they're just lean and mean machines. So they moved all of it with no problem. It was great. Yeah.
That's why you have
And
them.
the drones.
That's why you have boys. Yes.
I guess. I don't know. I'm not a mom myself, but I appreciate it.
Well, we're both parents. I can tell you that's when you're like, there you go. Make some use out of them, right?
And one of mine has a truck. I'm always like,
Yeah, exactly, right. They're not going to say
Absolutely, yeah.
thank you. You just got to get them to do shit,
so was that shot locally?
It was shot in a couple different locations. Yeah, Steve has beautiful land, which a lot of there's like a shot where it's just the land and you're just trees. We got Adam Rodriguez, who's taken some amazing photographs of us along with a lot of other bands. And we brought him in to do the video. And we had drone footage on Steve's property and also on Mike and Angela's. All that green is there, and the dilapidated house that only Adam and I were brave enough to go into, it was completely condemned. I mean, you would absolutely kill yourself in there, but
Yeah.
Adam and I wanted to get the shot, so we did it. It was really cool.
Like,
Yeah.
there's a crack house. That's great.
I liked the guy appearing and disappearing on the sofa. It was almost like kind of like a toxic relationship going away.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes, that's our wonderful friend Buck Rackley, who was so kind enough to sit in on that. And we had some dead space there. So we started talking about Elon Musk's rocket because, I have a kind of a weird thing for him. It's totally sexual only because, but Buck we couldn't get the momentum, and Buck just started flying off these little witty things, and the energy was captured in the video. And I'm so grateful for that because, that song translates pretty well in the video.
That's
So I'm glad that you
interesting.
picked that up.
Interesting that it's totally sexual because I've heard he has a few dollars in addition.
I don't care about the money.
He
I
could
just
buy
like that he's
France.
strange.
I mean, come on,
Just like that he's strange. But he could do a lot with that money, and I think he should. Yeah, I'd like a word with him, actually. And I
You'd like more
definitely
than
needs a new
that.
hairstylist.
Come on.
I will say that. Just saying.
So, I love one of your EPs. I can run and listen, and by the time I'm done about a mile, I'm usually done that album. So it works out pretty well.
Yeah.
But
I love that.
yeah, I love listening in headphones like that because I really hear a lot. So some of our favorite tracks from Bones and Bonfires, I think, again, Ravenous Phantoms, loved it. Although the lyrics had me running for Google. I'm like, metazygotic? Okay, that's twins from the same egg. And then when I got to
Thank
Conduit
you.
Creed and
Did you
Ravenous
do that? I
Phantoms-
love you for that. Thank you for capturing my word. Yes. I'm a word girl. Thanks for doing that. God, I could squeeze you right now. Okay.
I
sorry.
was lost on Conduit Creed and Ravenous Phantoms, my Hangman and Me. So what was kind of the gist of that?
Well, yeah. I had a friend named Alice from the Ultras back in '91, and Alice is gone now, but you can still see his music. The Ultras and Stars from Mars. He was a glam band. He was an ingenue. He was fantastic. But I asked Alice one time when I was 20, and I was like, Alice, how do you know if you're in love? And he said, are you hungry? And Ravenous Phantom's just a natural thing. You know, someone came into my life and kind of spun me around for just a second. And that was it was a great song. And, you know, the Conduit Creed, you know, we keep it going, and it's just it's an absolute, but it's that undercurrent of hunger, you know. Thank God it leaves quickly.
And I love that one piercing note you kind of give us at the beginning. Was that done sporadically or planned or?
No, it's part of the song. I mean, that's what it feels like, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just what it feels like. And our last one as well, which is my personal favorite. The last EP we just came out with, it's not The War Inside, it's From the Dead. You know, the same thing. We've got a song called Unnerved. And you know, that every bit of that song is just burns to my core. But that one has a wail in it too, and you gotta get it out. You gotta get it out.
Yeah, Unnerved we also had on our list. Mark was even saying that intro was almost Slayer-esque.
Well, I love the downstrokes and the cymbal, the you have my attention when you start doing that. Yeah.
Great, because absolutely.
For me, it was like kind of like the shower scene in Psycho.
It's the same, except it's stabbing.
Yeah. That's what it feels like. That's exactly what it feels like. Perfect. Oh my God.
Perfect.
You know, there's a little bit, you know, well, a lot of our stuff has you know, the classic literature. I mean, you know, Great Gatsby is huge influence, Great Expectations. You know, Dare has the Little Red Riding Hood thing in it. It's just all literature's everything. You know, I talked to a friend of mine. He said, you want to be a great writer, you better read. So
I worked for this company one time, and they sent me to Kentucky, and we stayed at the Great Gatsby Hotel.
Oh my God.
And nobody cared but me.
Did you?
And I was like, you guys are just going to the bar? Come on, there's like secret compartments and stuff in here. And they were like, yeah, who cares? And I was like, nobody cares about art anymore. Can you imagine?
You know, I remember being a drag in high school and you know, just being hungover half the time in high school. But when The Great Gatsby came on and she hit that video projector, man, I was paying attention because already I could feel, you know, that unrequited love, man. Oh yeah. It'll get you like nothing else. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Medusa's Mirror is one of Mark's favorites, and I did pick up on a lot of those literary references. I mean, who sings about Ophelia these days?
Yeah, I'm like, you know, right. I was, you know, like doing my hair this morning, and I'm like, Medusa's Mirror. Yeah, so.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's funny you would say Ophelia. Oh, go ahead. What'd you say, Mark?
No, I just said we're singing your songs in the shower, just so you know. Yeah.
We couldn't be happier about that. Ophelia, you mentioned, that's Sin and the Temptress, and that was actually, I wrote that after seeing a movie called Desire, a very like peculiar but totally intriguing movie about two sisters. Very good movie if you're a little twisted, which I'm totally, so it worked.
Well, we are
That's
too.
where that song came from. Good.
Medusa's Mirror makes me think of the first Clash of the Titans.
Me too.
You know, like the real cheesy one. I don't like the redone one. I like the first one.
No. Was it Harry Hamlin or something? Who was that?
Yeah, I like the old one where you can't really tell. Is it Perseus?
Yes.
You can't really tell if he's gay or not. He's got that.
That's right.
You know it.
Fabulous.
They try to make him so chiseled that you're like, all right, he's got to be gay. Come on. He doesn't want to be with this woman. Come on.
Remember the mechanical golden owl in that?
Yeah, oh yeah, right, with the owl.
The golden owl.
It looks like an alarm clock, but it's an owl.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was a classic movie. Yeah.
Still love it.
So we were talking about the darkness and the feelings of loss and the failed relationships and the monsters within. Who's the darkest one in the band?
Me.
Okay, it's you. So you're the one that.
Well, you know, it's it. Yeah.
Okay.
The lyrics, I write all the lyrics. But I tell you, the truth is, Steve, I'm convinced he's like CIA or something, because he's incredibly quiet. He's our machine. He loads and unloads all of our gear. He plays Tetris when we're putting in the back of the van. And he's
Right.
just incredible that way. Mike, however, is just a mastermind behind the whole thing. I mean, to me, to watch Mike play guitar is just like, it's like a spiritual experience. It's insane. It is insane. He is driven. And I would love to get inside his brain, how he cultivates the songs and how they change and they shift. And yeah, it's really awesome.
You know who has more guitars? Mike or
Who, babe?
Angel?
Oh, yeah?
Who do you think has more? Who's the bigger guitar person?
More of the guitar person in our band?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Mike
Definitely
or
Mike.
Angel, who has
Yeah.
more? Yeah.
Absolutely, Mike. Yes, for sure. For sure. Yeah. It was great because when we went to Scotland, UK, we all bought an instrument to bring back. Steve, of course, did not, but you know, they were able to get the UK bass and the UK guitar, and I was able to get my, you know, my Mike Sennheiser. I'm not sure if that's even how you say it, but I love it. So that definitely Mike. He can talk gear forever. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
so you know you're the darkest one in the band when you say stuff and they go, "It's a little heavy, dude."
Yeah,
You're like,
I'm the
"All right,
topper. I'm known
sorry."
as the topper. They'll tell a story and I'll top it with something else, like I'm the Harley Quinn and you know all that, like a little
Right.
bit psychotic. Yeah.
But they just kind of get the look where they're like, "All right, yeah, that was a little dark." Yeah.
I was scared to do the interview. Actually, I'm like, you guys, you don't want me on there with
Oh,
Stacey and
we do.
Mark.
Oh,
I'm
no, we're simpatico, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, we
I will do anything to get a laugh, anything. I will joke about anything, and I will not apologize. So yeah, yeah. I will
Oh,
spend
I'd love to get you
hours.
and Buck in the room. Yeah, you and Buck would have a field day. All of y'all. He's wonderful. Such a great guy to do that for us. Great
Mm.
friend.
So should we do our game?
Let's do our game. This should be good.
All right. So
Oh.
for those of you playing along at home,
I love you.
I have
You're gonna
100
do-
questions before me, but you are only going to answer 5, and you are going to pick the questions by giving me 5 numbers from 1 to 100.
1 to 100. All right. You know, I love to do this in Vegas. Let's see. We've got red 16, black 18, 23, either one, 37 and 99.
Right. To play those numbers.
Uh.
Number 16. Have you ever just walked out on a job?
Walked out on it. Yeah, and they were so happy. They were thrilled for me.
Oh,
They
do
were
tell.
wonderful about it. They were like, "Thank God, babe." Yeah. It was a phone sex job in Hollywood for like a minute. I was traumatized.
Why were they glad you left?
Because I was really just a little, yeah, I was just hell. Like really.
This is gonna hurt.
I'm very
Were you-
different today, but
This is gonna hurt.
I was very,
Were you phoning it in? Wow.
was I phoning it in?
Wow. Yeah. Sorry. I couldn't not say it.
Bad deal. I hope my mom never hears this, but all right. Things are different now.
Mom, she was young. She needed the work. Okay. Come on.
That's right. I mean, I was doing it for myself, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Gotta pay the bills. Come on.
Don't. I had this coworker who like, she's crazy. And a couple months ago, she said, I have is it OnlyFans, fans only, whatever, OnlyFans
Yeah.
page. And I'm thinking, okay. And she's like, I made $37 coming into work. I'm like, I'm still not doing it.
Nobody would have paid to see anything like that on my end. Maybe for her. Good luck for her. Great for her. Right on.
Well, you know, then she told me she was deleting it. So I was like, okay.
Yeah.
She's a little crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Number 18. Do you have a favorite smell?
Current lovers, I guess. You know?
I get that.
Yeah. Well, actually, yeah. I mean, yeah, I do. Yeah. Or past lovers or future lovers, whatever. Yeah. Those kind of things. And also, you know, it changes. I switch. But I do. I have a perfume that I don't care if I don't pay rent. I will get my $300 perfume. You know, absolutely. It's the Baccarat, that Rouge 540. I will go to my death with that one. It's beautiful.
I worked
Yeah.
in cosmetics a long time. I used to work in Estee Lauder back in the day, and there were still
Yeah.
people out there buying used to that wore it since they were 12, and now they're 92.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, all right. I'll get it out of the back
Yes.
door.
That's right. Mhm.
All right. Moving right along. Number 23. Have you ever seen a ghost?
I have. I see them often. They live with me and they're invited. But I will tell you this, and it terrified me. It was the man in the black hat. You heard this one?
I
I
know
had
that
never
one.
heard
Yeah.
this. I
No, I know that one.
described this to someone and was like, their face just went white, and I was like, what? And they're like, do you know who that is? I was like, no. So I had to do this moon water magical Reiki ritual and get them the hell out of my house. But I actually had that. And then it was like, you're invited to live here if you're going to be peaceful. If you're going to give me problems, you got to go. I love ghosts. I mean, most of my friends and family are long gone. So they're connections.
You're gonna live here. Could you fix the plumbing for me? I mean, come on.
Yes. Have you guys
Oh.
seen ghosts?
I felt one once. It was
Yeah.
there's a house up in Bel Air, and it's the Booth house, like like the guy who killed Lincoln. It was his family's house.
Yeah.
And we were on tour, and it was a really warm summer day. And of course, it's an old house. There's no air conditioning. And when we walked, I got like really cold. And the host turned around and she said, aha. She said, do you feel cold right there? I'm like, yes. And she said, only people who are sensitive do. I'm like, great. And it was someone who, of course, fell down the stairs and plunged to their death right there. I'm like,
Right.
okay, good.
I haven't, but I had it. I had a girl that read tarot cards that when I did a reading said that I was a tarot card rock star and that I needed to do it. Like it was time for me to do it. So
do it. I'd love to follow up with you on that.
I did it for a
We'll
while,
find
and it was really good, but it's just trying to fit it in with everything else, I mean, it's.
I was teasing him. I found this one podcast who interviews bands, and they do it like right outside the venue, and they do like a tarot card reading for the band. I was like, see, I could have that.
Yeah.
You could
Apparently,
do that.
yeah.
Yeah, you could do that. Good. Suicide Pact is about a wonderful old friend of mine who passed away, and that's sometimes Pony will visit. I just feel Pony, practical jokester, that one though. So Pony can always stay, but some of those got to go.
Yeah, those bad vibe dudes got to go. The guys who explode the shampoo, I'm not fond of them.
Or get creepy and close, like when I'm dressing, they'll close. I can feel the presence behind me, like, you got to get out, so closing in on the closet door. I'm like, nope, you got to go.
There's wild stories about the John Wilkes Booth house because it was privately owned for a while, and they would have something like they'd be having a party and the birthday cake would levitate and flip over. I'd be like, I would be done if I baked that cake all day.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Nope.
They sold it. Now it's a museum again because I guess they were just like, okay, we're out of here. All right. What were we up to?
Very cool.
37. If you had to do one chore yourself, would it be cooking, gardening, or a home repair?
Cooking, gardening, or home repair. Home repair or gardening. I'm trying to have my hand at gardening here. I've got my house plants. That's what I say. People ask me like, about my love life. I'm like, I'm better with my plants. I'm good. I'm good.
Don't feel
What
bad
about you guys?
I'm the home repairer.
he's the home repairer.
She's the gardener.
And chef. In
Beautiful.
fact, we have a abundance of cucumbers right now, so I'm just making him refrigerator pickles, and he won't let me give any to anybody.
Oh my God, they're so good. So we have like too many cucumbers, and she started making pickles, and that's like all I want to eat. And then the people that she works with said, "Can we get some pickles?" And I'm like, "Fuck them! Don't
fuck you!" Right?
They're not getting our pickles.
Yeah. No. During COVID, I was convinced that we. Oh, go ahead. What?
No, they can have brownies or whatever. The pickles are from me.
Oh, yeah. During COVID, I thought we all need to get skills. We all need to get life skills in case the apocalypse. We all need to get together. So I learned how to make oat milk, and I tried my hand at ginger, but I just grew mosquitoes after a couple weeks. But yeah.
Wait, but how did ginger turn into growing mosquitoes? How did that happen? I mean,
I think I overwatered. Okay. I'm going to take my hand at mint, though. I'm growing some mint as we speak. I'm going to see how that goes.
Okay.
Here's what I advise not doing. Don't grow sweet potatoes. They overtook everything. It was ridiculous. They were growing up the side of our shed. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. We love sweet potatoes because they're good and they're healthy, and we we're so excited, but the vines are like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Like they just vines, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then we went,
Wasn't
finally,
it
it was time,
terrifying?
yeah, finally we went to go harvest. We got like 8,
Like a colander.
like barely a
Okay.
collar of them, you know. So sweet potatoes, apparently you need like a 100-acre ranch to grow them.
All right. So we're up to 99. What advice would you give your teenage self?
Oh, I love this question. Yeah.
Oh man, you know what? I swear to God, I would tell my teenage self, stop being so obsessed with Nick Rhodes. You will meet him. It'll take you 20 years to meet him. Get on with your life. Don't stop doing music, because the reprieve of not doing music, I didn't realize what a vacant space it left to not do it for a long time, because I got my first band at 16. And I would definitely tell myself to really, really get into the arts, get into the education, learn, instead of being such a fuck up, which I was, to really, get it together early and invest, learn how to invest your money. That's what I would tell my teen.
Yeah.
Definitely. Stocks, mutual funds, things like that.
Yeah.
What would you guys tell your teens? I want to know.
I would bitch slap my teenage self. That's all I want to do.
I would have told myself not to let this one go, because I did.
Oh,
We were
Yeah,
together.
we were high
that's
school
beautiful.
sweethearts. Yeah.
And I'm a year ahead of him, and I went off to college and thought, well, he was still in high school.
You never want to be the last boyfriend before she goes off to college. That's a bad gig.
And I was miserable. He was miserable. We spent 33 years apart before refinding each other. So I would definitely tell myself not to let him go.
Oh my God, Stacey, I love love so much. It does not like me, but I love love, and I love stories like that. Oh my God. Yes, girl.
Yeah,
Good
I
for
never
you.
thought I had the string of worst boyfriends you have ever. Just horrible. But they all have names like Officer Poopy Pants, who was a dumb cop who was an asshole. But we give them all names now.
Yeah.
Mine got locations. I was on a dating website for about a minute, a couple of times. And after one too many assault charges from these guys that thought I was a goddamn possession, I was like, enough with that. But they used to get locations. The guys got locations until they elevated to a nickname. And then every once in a while, they get a real name. But one, in fact, let me change his name. I was like, I don't really like your name. Can I call you Jimmy James? And he's like, sure. I was like, I loved it. So, that's not my name, but right on.
Dating apps were horrible. I can't tell you the amount of times I left a mid-first date. My line was, I have to go to the bathroom. And I was just zing, gone to my car. Bye.
And my line was, I thought she'd never leave. Waiter.
I'm thrilled that you guys
With
are together
everyone
now.
except this one. So yeah.
Right. Well, there you go.
So it only took us 33 years to figure it out. So don't worry.
Yeah,
It'll
we're
happen.
not real quick on the draw. Yeah.
So beautiful.
Well, anyway, I love your vocals. I love how you almost talk at times. I love how you can croon. I love you can be melodic. You ever thought about throwing some unclean vocals in there and just doing it all?
Throwing some what, babe? What'd
Like
you say?
some unclean, like the death metal, cup it for a minute, because there's some bands like well, there's a lot now that in this moment that kind of, or Lacuna Coil, that will throw in some growly vocals,
Right.
and then go back to like clean vocals.
I don't know that I can do that. When I started out, a friend of mine, Eric Tucker, who was in a really kick-ass band called God's Water that people still talk about now, he said, if you can't sing Give Me Shelter, Mary Clayton, you can't sing. You have to sing this song. And so she has been my bar ever since I was little. I mean, I heard Mother Finest Baby Love, and it changed my whole damn life. Like, oh my God, please let me be a Black woman. You know what I mean? I want to sing my ass off. So I get a lot of love from that, but I know that there are singers that are so much better. And I hate Autotune. So if I can't nail the note, we're going to do it again. Yeah. And I try to nail it within that first try, because that's what Mary Clayton did on Give Me Shelter. And then she said, I can do this better, so let me do it again. So I just sing, but I am taking I'm taking lessons now.
So that's your watermark then. Mary Clayton. One. Give Me Shelter. That's
She's amazing.
Good one. Really good.
She's so good. Jesus,
Okay. Yeah,
isn't she?
that's a good one. Too.
What is the music scene like locally there, and what are your favorite bands to jam with locally?
Oh man, I love so many bands around here. God, I got to tell you, I love so many bands in Charlotte. I hate to say that I have favorites, but I have a couple favorites. They're growly and they're grimy, and there's a song that I will not let die from some friends of mine. In fact, their guitarist, band called Witch Motel, is one of my awesome people. And the guitarist is like, "You're an enigma." He said, "I watch you sing and you literally look like you're singing to someone else." And I said, "I am. That's exactly what I'm doing, because I can keep the songs alive. Every song has a moment in time, every song is inspired by someone or something that moved me. So I want to hold on to that as much as I can. And if I don't want to hold on to that person or that moment, that song cannot be in our repertoire, because it won't last. And if you can't feel me talking to you about it, then what good is it,
Right.
But Witch Motel is great. There's a grimy band called King Cackle that I always love to play with. If you ever saw Baytown Outlaws, Clutch is one of my favorite bands of all time. And I could totally see King Cackle in that pocket. There's so many great bands here. I'm not kidding. I love them, and regional too. Good God.
Oh, yeah.
So many.
So I have a suggestion for your next record.
Come on.
I think that you should write an album, and it
Right.
should be all men that you wanted to murder. And I think that you should write each song about a different man that, if you could have murdered him, here's how you would have done it. I think that would be dark enough, and it would fit, and it
It
would
would kind of be like the music to Chicago, but in your style.
kind of like Nick Cave murder ballads, except done by you. I think that would work.
Oh man, God. Red Right Hand. What a great song that is,
Oh,
right?
yeah. I think that would
Wow.
work. For
That's
you
one I
guys.
wish I would have written, right? You guys like a song you wish you would have written? What
Oh,
are some songs?
Oh my God. How many?
songs I wish
Give
I
me
would've-
just a couple.
I wish I would have written Back at the Funny Farm by Motorhead, where he says, I
Right
really
on.
like this jacket, but the sleeves are much too long. I mean, it's genius. I mean, there's a lot of Motorhead that I would have probably everything Lemmy is what I would have written. I mean, how about I'll Be Your Sister, where he says, what do you want? I'll be your sister, I'll be your mother, whatever. Can I go upstairs? I mean, just everything Lemmy is just like so inappropriate, but so charming, Damage Case. Hey, baby,
right.
don't call the cops. I'm escaped from an institution, but let me in anyway.
That's
yeah.
true love, man. That's true love. That's what I'm talking about. Witch
don't
Motel has
make-
a song called Carlos and Maria, and they try to let it die. And it's like about this psychotic, fantastic burning the house down love if you don't let me do this with you. And I love that song. Everybody loves that song here. Yeah, check that out. What about you, Stace? Couple songs you wish
I'm
you were written.
currently obsessed with this UK band called As Everything Unfolds.
Uh-huh.
And I wish I had written Ultraviolet. I just love her lyrics to that, the way Ultraviolet never seems to fade, and how she goes deep with it. She goes, in your eyes, and really gives it to you. And then she goes back to soft. It's like we sit out by the fire a lot and play each other, stuff that we've discovered. And usually after a couple drinks, I'm like, all right, I'm putting on As Everything Unfolds.
Yeah.
I love that.
One that's really
fantastic.
like you wouldn't expect, but I really think it's one of the best rock and roll songs ever written is Sober by Pink.
Oh yeah.
The lyrics to that song.
She's fantastic.
She is so great.
Yeah.
And that song is perfect. It's like, how do I get this feeling sober? It's like we've all been there. We're all, it speaks to everybody. That's a great
Absolutely.
song.
Oh, and Heavy as
It's
the
a
Ocean
great
by
song.
Bush. I love
Oh,
that
the
song.
new Bush
Oh
is
my
great.
God. It's so full of angst. And when he's like, I like he was like, this fuck up is gonna be the death of us. It's just like, wow. It's like somebody threw up. I love it.
Yeah.
I love that too. I do. I love that grimy stuff, man. Bring it, every bit of it. I love all of that when you're just turned inside out, I love that. I really do.
Yep.
So I could only find a little bit of you guys live online, but it looked like quite the thing. It almost looked like, did you guys get like a pit going at some point?
God, we did. where was that? Oh, it was, wow. Well, we've had a few of those actually. The first one was in Charleston in a place called Royal American, which is like the Mecca. To me, that's like the epitome of a great rock and roll, great food, great people, great music, built-in crowd. They are hyped up and they just went nuts. And the sound guy was like, I have never seen a pit do that, you know. Now I've learned they have been more, but that was pretty cool. And then we've had a couple others as well. You know, we played an all-girls show at Birmingham punk rock art show, which our friends put together, and they it was all chicks, funny. So we had Triangle Fire, we had Lipstick Stains, we had Overseas, we had Occult Fracture and Future Hate, and that was badass because you get a lot of chicks and you're doing the pit, and man, you know, Nashville punk rock flea market is badass for that too. This little bitty tiny girl heads that whole thing and she just annihilates those big guys out there. She's fantastic. Yeah.
Do you ever crowd surf?
Never.
Really?
Ever, never. I'm smarter than that.
It's funny, right?
For
So
me.
when I did back in the day,
Yeah.
I would wake up the next day with huge bruises like on my ass and stuff from being dropped, right? Well,
Yep.
now when we went to when we go to festivals now,
Uh-huh.
the kids are crowd surfing, and they're selfieing while they're crowd surfing. So
That's fantastic.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I just can't imagine the safety. Like there was no safety in the 90s. I
None.
was
That's
dying
what
to
it
be
is.
hurt, you know, like
You know
that
what?
was the last thing on my mind, you know. So
Yeah, Stacey and Mark, that's exactly what it was. There was no safety when
there
we
was no
were doing
safety.
that. Today, they're all careful. They love each other.
They won't
Really.
let anybody fall. I was always waiting for the fall. I was like, all right, drop my ass.
And
Fine. You
the
know.
other weird thing is these guys, they almost get dressed up like it looks like they're about to be a mascot for a sports team, but they're like crowd surfing, like this huge horse head. And we kept seeing this
True.
guy at Hell
Right,
in
like
the
a big
Harbor,
hat. Yeah, yeah.
and he
Okay.
literally had a big horse head on. And we were like, we got to interview Horse Guy, but we could never identify exactly who he was.
That's right. Wait, how would we find him? That's right.
You can, I swear, if you ask around, you could find him. I'm watching a thing. There's a feed right now. There was this one girl that made an impression on this other girl at a party or something. And you've got 200 people trying to help this girl find this other girl because she felt such a cosmic connection to her. It's really cool. Baby,
Yeah.
we can find you anybody.
We can find him.
We'll find you
Yeah.
Horsehead Man.
We found pictures of him later after the event. Of course, he's mid crowd surf.
Right. I was trying to see like what does his shirt say? Because then I could find him, but I couldn't see. Yeah. You know, he goes up and then he goes down. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
So, might we maybe hear about more tour, maybe up the East Coast a little
Right,
north?
exactly. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we're going to we're just going to do an Asheville, and we're going to ready to do a couple runs to Ohio. We're going to do an Indianapolis. Then we're going to be back down at Royal American with another badass band called Fire Nest. Jesus Christ, love them. Okay. And we're going to do that. Then we have a lot on the calendar, but we're trying to take it easy. Steve is going to go to Egypt and Israel for a while. Him and his wife, just another fantastic couple like you guys. And they're going to be doing that. So we're going to lay low for a bit, but we're working on new material and we're going to take those shows and be around. We also have a September 1st show with King Saul and the Heretics, badass band, and the Eyebrows. So we're looking forward to that. That's going to be at Tommy's Pub, and Tommy's Pub here in Charlotte is one of our havens. It's just, he's amazing. It's, you know, Jamie and Stacey run that, and they're just fantastic. They actually went to England with us. It's great. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Egypt and Israel, those are places that you go to and you can visit places that were in the Bible. Like there's
In
the
the
mountain that was
Bible.
in Revelation 7:12. Like that's
history.
wow. Yeah.
You know what I was looking for? I was on a quest when we got to Scotland to find the pagan paths, you know, because you can't find anything.
Huh.
So one of the guys at our real show with Absolence and the Bourbon Hitchers was able to talk to me about a pagan princess out there. I'm still going to track her down. We'll find you your Horsehead Man. You need.
Yeah, Scotland's sort of
Yeah.
like Australia for me. Like I realized that everything I know about Scotland came from Braveheart, which is very disappointing. And then I realized that everything about Australia that I know came from the Crocodile Dundee movies, and I'm just very disappointed in myself, you know.
I love it. Scotland for me was a Big Country. I think Big Country was one of the most amazing bands ever in our
Oh,
history.
yeah, Big
I love
Country,
Big
that's right.
Country,
Yeah.
yeah. Driven.
I want to say we've only interviewed one Scotland band, and that was Hell Ripper. Is that the only one?
Well, and I asked him the AC/DC
Yeah.
question. I said, is AC/DC Scotland's or does it belong to Australia? And he was just so nice about it. He was like, well, whatever they think. I was
Well,
like,
I'm
I wanted you to
Scottish.
get
Mike's
mad.
Scottish.
Like, I wanted you to be like, we fucking own them. That's what I wanted.
You guys got to get Bourbon Hitcher, man. I swear to God, Stace Mark, you're gonna love Bourbon Hitcher. Get him, bring him on. He's
We will.
hysterical.
Every band that you brought up, when I
Please.
edit these, I go after every band. Yeah, absolutely.
And then we write everything
it.
down.
You write everything down. Yeah.
Do it.
When you guys go back to England, you have to look up the Hip Priests. They are a bunch of crazy guys.
Yeah.
They're really good.
They're out of what?
The Hip
is it
Priests?
Newcastle?
Nottingham, I believe.
Nottingham. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Hip Priests. They're called.
Yeah.
The Hip Priest. Okay, well, we're gonna stay connected. I mean, thank you for so much for staying connected with me. So we'll keep exchanging
we will.
some things.
Find something
Yeah.
cool, we'll let you know. Yeah.
I love it. I love
And
it.
hopefully by the time the show's up, I'll be able to wear the shirt on the show.
Oh,
It never
I'll
works
tell
out
you
like
what.
that. It never
Well,
works.
that'd be amazing. Come with us. Shit. I say next time we go, come with us. I want everybody to go. If I could move
great.
everybody over there, I would. I mean, my mom's man he couldn't get his medicine. He left a week's worth of medication. He went to the doctor there and they gave him 50 days worth of medication. Granted, we were only there for 2 weeks. And when they went to pay the bill, they said, we don't want any of your money. You're covered. A foreigner was covered. No
Wow.
insurance, didn't have to pay a damn thing. And I think, here's what we do. When you have to have something big, we just put all of our money into the Scottish economy. We go over there, we give them food, we enjoy their music, and we get to see this amazing other world and we get healthcare. I think it's great.
I'm
Makes
sold.
sense to me.
And they might want to double think it. Like when we were at Stacey's son's wedding, there was a point in the during the reception where Stacey went to look for me. I was standing, I had like a flock of men that were there, and I was talking about something about a Russian gulag, and they were
Okay.
all fascinated. And they were like, what's his name again? And she said, what the hell are you talking about? And I said, hold on. And I finished. I've never been to Russia. I don't know what the hell I was talking about. It was all this. It was just all this.
Nobody knows.
Yeah, so.
Falling on deaf ears.
Okay, Deaf Ears time. Deaf Ears 1 is Bone Dagger. The Veil is the name of the new EP. This is a fresh take on a familiar style. The Portland duo known as Bone Dagger offer 4 cuts of melodic, layered vocal hooks, heady lyrics, primal alt-metal riffing, and visceral drumming for their debut EP. Founded by multi-instrumentalist John Lund in 2020, Bone Dagger offers the memorable choruses of grunge swirled with exciting flair of prog metal. Lyrically exploring a wide range of topics, from corporate corruption to escapism to self-awareness, the EP offers an exciting songs that do their business quickly, keeping things in the tidy 4 to 5 minute range. Plus, that artwork is absolutely tattoo-worthy.
The production is quite impressive. Lund's layered vocals recalling Lane Staley without the whining and a drug reference every 2 minutes.
Did I mention I'm on drugs? I'm on drugs. Did I mention that? Sorry.
The taut bass line and roboticized vocals in Filthy Machine are interesting in a late period King's X kind of way. Lyrics exploring the futility of avoiding social media. The Tool-like drumming grooves hard in a cycle of self, along with interesting use of riff panning, while the main riff and closer The Veil is just as heavy as an elephant's ass. Overall, impressive stuff. Here's to hoping Lund can solidify the Bone Dagger lineup in the coming months and continue to offer music with pop sensibility, prog aspirations, and a heavy rock crush.
Okay, so let's play a song. This is The Veil. Okay, Deaf Ears 2. I'm going to say this to kick it off. When I saw the name of the band, I thought they were all 6-year-old boys. They're not. The band is Big Red Fire Truck, and the EP is called Trouble in Paradise. Once upon a time, the biggest bands wrote stadium-friendly choruses, lyrical odes to curvy females, shred-crazy guitar solos, and sprinkled in abundant cowbell for good measure. It seems that the Australian four-piece Big Red Fire Truck are determined to pay homage to classic hard rock of the 80s, judging from these 6 songs. The vocal harmonies of singer Digby, which is a great Australian name, and drummer Pete Grant are all but delectable. Guitarist Ben Frank plays his ass off with colorful melodies and lyrical harmonies in song after song. It's a delightful trip back in time to the era of neon leggings and mixtapes.
Personally, I find all the songs about the weather here to be the strongest. Hot Summer Nights is just a shade shy of a darkness song.
Mm-hmm.
If Digby pushed the choruses with just a little more falsetto, he would be a dead ringer for Justin Hawkins. Psychotropic Thunder is a little more in the vein of Journey, particularly the warm 80s informed chorus and vocal harmonies. Finally, closer Miami Skies ends the whole affair on a glowing guitaristic high note, with Frank ripping it up with all manner of Van Halenisms. BRFT is the perfect gift for your lonely Uncle Jim that still rocks his vintage Final Countdown t-shirt and Daisy Dukes. Impressive stuff.
So go ahead and introduce the song.
And if you haven't checked out their Instagram page, check out Digby's crazy mane of curly red hair. This song is called Miami Skies.
Deaf Ears 3. The Return of Sextile. The album is called Push, and it drops the 15th of this month. Strap on the latex and grab your glow sticks. The legendary 3-piece known as Sextile are back with a vengeance. They've kept us at bay with the odd single here and there, but the fact remains that Push is their first full-length album in 6 years. The sound has evolved significantly. The post-punk tag barely holds at this point, with Brady, Melissa, and Kemgren dialing back the scrunk in favor of pure poison disco. Dark, sexy choruses and wispy traces of rap are ensconced in one sick beat after another. Keen's breathy vocals erotically enhanced by Scandalo's echoey shouts and coos. The whole thing sitting at the crossroads of punk sneer and rave thrill.
The band's heart is in the right place. A cut like the tribute to the anarcho-punk legends in Crassy Mill, dizzying acid techno swirling against Scaldo's vocal venom spitting. You know, you're just a coward-ass bitch.
Coward. Yeah.
The slow throb of Crash could have been a late 90s luscious Jackson song.
Were those guys? How do you like that one? Pulled that out of my ass.
With its layered female vocals and hazy DXM dope vibe. But the sickest beat goes to New York, straight out of KM FDM land, with a loop that sounds like a satanic ice cream truck, endlessly circling the neighborhood, stalking us while we're running. The last
That's not
thing...
fair. I didn't get ice cream. We didn't tell that story. So the escaped psychotic patients that Stacey works with, an ice cream truck pulled up, and it was for the school.
Yeah.
For a party for the school. They all went running out there to buy ice cream, and it was like they had to be told, no, this is for the children. And they sulked all day about it.
Rather sulky that they wouldn't even sell them ice cream. As soon as they pulled up, I said, that's for the school.
Anyway.
All right. The last thing about Sextile, that album cover. It absolutely nails what you should expect sonically from Sextile. Colorful and stylish. Grab this one and remember to keep hydrated. Liquid IV, people.
It's plain New York.
Not a sponsor, by the way.
I can't believe how much we talked about Jimmy Buffett on the show. He's somebody we care nothing about. Anyway.
You know, it's kind of like, somewhere everybody's going, Jimmy Buffett, America.
I think Wifflëheadz turned out to
Wifflëheadz.
Brought back a lot of memories of, Don't fall out of that tree, asshole. We need that ball back. Right. We kicked off Mark's very specific horoscopes. That's great. And we talked about getting our school picture took.
Maybe we'll, expound upon it. You can do your very specific psychic readings.
Same concept, basically.
No magic 8-ball guiding us here, folks.
Works very specific weather forecast. Same thing. Well, how great is it to get a job like that where you can be wrong like 70% of the time and nobody cares? That's great.
This has been the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast. Special thanks to Crystal from Occult Fracture for appearing on this show. Snaggletooth theme by Jens Kemgren. Deaf Ears theme by Tim Green of the Fucking Champs. Season 3 artwork by Casey Angel. You can find him on Instagram, Casey Angel Art. Deaf Ears band, Big Red Fire Truck, Sextile, and Bone Dagger. All content 2023. The Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.
One dog goes one way and the other dog goes the other way.
One is going east and the other one is going west. So what?
And this guy's saying, what do you want from me?
This is the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.